I'm in my Silhouette studio. So the first thing I need to do is I need to set up my design space to reflect the length of this table runner. So this table runner is 49 inches long and about 10 inches tall. I need my design to be a little bit smaller than that. So the first thing I need to do is set up my actual design page. Now, as you can tell with the length of this design, we won't be using a cutting mat. So what we need to do is we need to increase our design page, but also make sure we have a little bit of a buffer right here. So you can see this red box represents what can actually cut on your silhouette. And then you have the space down here. Now that's the length of your material, and the reason why is that your rollers are further back than your blade, so you need those rollers to keep feeding your material. So I'm going to go ahead, set my height to about 50 inches. You can see it's increased a lot, and then I'm going to switch it to landscape, and this is just for me to design. It's still going to feed in on this side of my machine. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my text box, and then I'm going to use some lyrics from one of my husband's favorite hymns, and I have them on my clipboard already. So I'm going to do Control V, paste them in here. Now we have all of this here. All right, so what I want to do is I want to check the length of my text box. So you can see it's 35.3 inches wide. I want this to be about 47, so I'm going to double click and then actually stretch this out. And the reason why I'm doing it this way and not the other is because I don't want to increase my text size yet. So I go and do it this way to check on it. So let's bring it just a little bit more. 46 is good too. All right, so now I'm ready to text edit. So now I want to really increase the size of this. So let's see how big it looks at 288 first. All right, so it's a little bit too big. Let's try 144. All right, so I think I'm a little bit larger than that. So what I want to do is I actually want to take this, and now I'm just going to do more edits to it. So let's go ahead, double click on there. How great thou art, how great thou art. All right, and so let's increase our text size to 200. All right, so you're going to have some of these problems where some of them fit, some of them don't. You could do a couple things. What I'll do actually is I'll make this top text smaller to emphasize the bottom line. So let me double click, select my cursor, then let's bring this down to about maybe 180. All right, so you see it doesn't go all the way over, so we're going to type again, do 150. All right, so you can see it looks a lot different. Let's center it. We'll do it that way. And I don't really like it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do 200 again. Make it this large. And then we're going to just adjust it a little bit more. And sometimes when this happens, you can also adjust your font. Sometimes your font makes it look weird. But I'm just going to go ahead and do 180. Let's do 160. Okay. So we have it set up like this. Now you could add more lyrics if you'd like. You can leave it that way. I'm going to go ahead and leave it this way. So I'm going to bring it all the way to my edge of here and then flip horizontally because I'm ready to cut. So with this, I am actually going to cut this with adhesive and press it with foil. So my adhesive actually comes in a 12-inch roll, so I can just feed it in all the way through. I'm going to check the length of this. So check this out. There's extra space here. When you click, it'll show you the size of the text box you're working with. Because I'm all done, I'm going to go ahead, right click, make compound path, and you can see now this is the actual length of your text. So 41 inches. So I can cut down my adhesive to a length that'll feed into my cutter easily. And we'll go ahead, bring it like this. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to use my second carrier with my premium blade. So do Tool 2. And then I'll have it on my Easyweed setting. I'll load my Cameo and I'll be ready to go. All right, so here's my Cameo 3. I need to adjust my roller over. So if I do it right here, it's a little bit off. So what I'm going to do is, what you want is you want to make sure that this feeds in evenly. If you feed a long piece like this unevenly, it will affect your entire cut. So I'm going to find this side, it's cut a little bit more even. We're going to align it. with these rollers. So you can see that this is still cut unevenly, so I'm matching off these lines. And if it loads a little bit unevenly, I can lift that roller up and straighten it and lift it back down. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed it through and feed it back to see how it goes. Pretty good. All right, I'm going to set up my design. Since we're cutting something so large and I want to make sure it works well, I'm also going to turn down my speed. My whole design is done cutting. This is just finishing up processing. So this is a good reason why you need to check your vinyl, feed it through before you cut, because this didn't slide as I did this. Another way to ensure your vinyl loads straight is if you get a roll feeder. So I'm going to unload it, and now I'm ready to weed this. Here's my design. This is a pretty large transfer, so I'm going to go ahead, start weeding it. I'm going to work from this side, and actually I'm going to start trimming off pieces of excess as I go to make it easier to keep weeding. Now if you're weeding adhesive, be really careful where you're putting your weeded pieces at, because I have had on occasion little pieces have made its way back onto the carrier and it's translucent, so I don't know until the foil sticks to it after. So here's my transfer, weeded out. I'm really happy with how this silhouette cut. This was 41 inches. It was my longest cut to date. So we're going to go ahead, and what I'm doing is I'm just creasing it in the middle so I can find the middle of this transfer. And I've already folded my table runner to have the middle of that. So I'm going to find the middle, position this how I'd like. Okay, now the key to pressing something this large is to tape it down to make sure it doesn't shift while you're doing your presses. So I'm going to do our magic heat tape, which is available on our website, and really, really tape this. Now before I go to press the adhesive, I don't want the adhesive to sit too long before pressing my foil, so I'm going to cut my length of foil now. So I'm going to use this gold foil, and I'm going to just go ahead and take this, roll it down until I get to the end, and then trim. Now the key is to make sure you have sharp scissors with foil. So one more step is I'm going to trim the foil on the side too. It's a little excessive, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab this and just follow this line down. And there are so many small projects you can do with foil that this scrap piece will still be used well. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside and then go to my heat press. My table runner's down, the adhesive's taped. So with adhesive, you want to do quick presses to tack it on, but you also don't want it to sit too long after peeling up. So we're going to do quick presses and move on to get this to stay. Alright, so I'm going to bring it over and peel it up. So I peeled this up so quickly that I didn't move the camera because I want to make sure I got it in time. So here's my foil. Now I'm going to employ the same method that I did with the adhesive. I'm going to tape it down because I really don't want my foil to shift while I do this. So let's tape this corner. I'm going to use my hand to smooth. Go to the opposite corner. And add some more pieces here to keep it down. So now I'm ready to press. So foil is a 15-second press at 305 degrees and a super cold peel. So when I'm done with my first press, I have to be very careful when I move it because I don't want the foil to lift and flake. So we're gonna do our first press. You can see where the foil's stuck. Carefully move it over. And the good thing is I can see exactly where it ends. All right, so here's my next press, 15 seconds. And let's repeat. I'm going to bring this over to my workstation and let it cool. My foil's cooled. Let's grab my tape and peel up. So yeah, I got a really good press. You check out, there's no residue on the foil there. So what I can do is I can leave it just like this to keep it super shiny, but what I'll do is I'm going to press it again on my press to dull this down just a little bit. Alright, so we're going to do our quick presses. Only a couple seconds just to get it to get down. And let's find that. Okay. And one last press. Cool. So now you can see that the vinyl is almost a little bit more, the foil is a little bit more matte. It's like in the material a little better. So a great way to just tone down your foil a little bit but still have that nice shine. And it's pretty cool, the process of foil and how you apply it. So the foil you can buy in a 25-foot roll for $10, and the adhesive can start as low as about $2.25 a foot. So if you have any other questions, you can email us at info@therhinestoneworld.com. And to purchase any of the products I use in this video, you can find a link in our description.